friends, and welcome to the video. So it's been a while. I've been having a break. I wanted to do a bit more walking at the weekends rather than just making videos and do a bit more painting. So I've done this one behind me. It's a copy, where is it, of a Van Gogh painting that I like. It's called The Irises. Is that focused? From 1890. He did near the end of his life. I think it's very beautiful. Right, can I focus on my face again? Yes, there we go. Hope that's gonna I'm gonna realize I'm gonna be blurry for the rest of the video. So yes, and I've grown my hair out a bit. I've been trying to cut it myself in the bathroom, so I hope it's not too much of a disaster. I was kind of thinking if I made fewer videos, they would be of high quality, but here I am going to give the kind of normal video that I normally do, just talking about my experience with certain things. This time meditation. So I remember a few years ago, I went into did one of these webinars that they were every week. I'm not sure what the situation is with Rupert Spira, and there's lots of people, and you try to put your hand up to ask a question, and basically while you're sitting there waiting for him to get an opportunity to talk, you listen to all the other people. I think other people do enjoy listening to other people. They're all there full of love, but I'm basically there sitting, when's it my turn? And sometimes it never gets to your turn. But anyway, I was doing that, and I was listening to one woman and she said, I just can't meditate. And Rupert Spira said, you don't need to meditate. And she was kind of thrown, and she was all ready to say that she couldn't focus, she couldn't pay attention, and he disarmed her. You don't need to meditate. And this is actually something. It's not just that he was kind of sick of people saying that kind of thing to him. I get that in lessons actually. If the conversation, I'm an English teacher if anyone's forgotten, if the conversation goes towards meditation, I say, I meditate, and then normally people say, I can't meditate, I just can't sit still for 10 minutes. and I'm thinking in my head, well, you're the very person that needs to meditate then. If you can't sit still for 10 minutes, practice. But anyway, so I thought I was suspicious that he was just disarming this kind of conversation that might have gone on for a while. Her claiming she couldn't meditate, and him giving suggestions, and her saying, it's no use for me, and etc. But who knows? The point is that you don't actually need to meditate. To find out what you really are, it's kind of something in Advaita Vedanta it's self-inquiry, really. And meditation is useful, stilling the mind, and seeing your thoughts arise, seeing that you're not your thoughts. But a lot of the work is done through hearing the message, they call it shavana, reflecting on it and asking questions where you're stuck, manana, and nididhyasana, which is applying it, living it, seeing if it's really true as you go throughout your day. Am I really, is everything really arising in consciousness? Am I really not my body and my mind? Is that not really what I am? And seeing how that mental framework, if it works better than the one that you had before. And this will deepen, and then you'll get non-dual realization at some point, hopefully. But a lot of it is just understanding this. And people often say, I go to a Rupert Spira retreat and I feel all great, and I go away and I get stuck in me again, all my problems. And that could be the benefit of meditation. It has been scientifically proven to develop parts of the brain that help you to reduce like obsessive, addictive behavior, anxiety, rumination, these kind of things where when you're kind of tied to your thoughts. They're not working for you. I'm not sure if they ever do work for you, but you're tied in with them and you're following them about. There is something to be said for meditation in Advaita Vedanta, in this non-dual inquiry. When I started, I got really interested in this really after I started meditating, and I could see the thoughts were not me. I was very interested in it before. I was very interested in, since I was a teenager, Alan Watts and Jiddu Krishnamurti, but I only really got it when I started meditating, and I saw that I wasn't my thoughts. They arose and they kind of passed by, and they're slightly out of my control, really. I think we normally think that we are a combination of our body and our thoughts. If you put my body and my thoughts together, that's me. And I've had conversations with students, adult students, who are normally more receptive. Certain types of adults might be interested in this topic before I started making the videos. Now I don't feel the need to talk to people at work about this, waste their time. But I have said to them, look at your hand. Are you looking at your hand, or is your hand looking at you? And well, of course, I'm looking at my hand. Now, think of thought. Now, are you thinking the thought, or is the thought thinking you? And that's where they get stuck, I see. They have thought that they are the thought. I am a movement of thought. That's what really I am. I'm this movement of thought inside my head. You could freeze my brain, wake me up in the future, it would still be me. You could, some people think, upload myself, my brain and everything onto a computer. It would still be me. Of course, I don't really believe your consciousness can be uploaded where everything's in consciousness. So that's where people I found get stuck, because they think that they are their thoughts. And when I started meditating seriously, I've been meditating now for about 7 years. I meditate twice a day, 40 minutes in the morning, and then 40 minutes after my siesta. So I live a Spanish life. I work in the morning, and then I have a break where I sometimes go to the gym, and I always do 40 minutes of meditation before I go back to work at 5, and then I finish at 10. And then I don't try meditating when I get home, because I drift off, and I don't think it's productive to be falling asleep when you're supposed to be meditating. I think some people do their meditation, they lie in bed, and I'm going to meditate, and I just drift off, and it's all very peaceful. I'm at peace. That's meditation for me. But I've always thought that meditation should be something similar to the gym, but for the mind. So instead of instead of go to the gym and lift weights, every repetition is helps push muscle, tears the muscles and they grow back stronger. When you meditate, you lose focus, and when you bring your focus back, that's the repetition. That's the bit that does the work. It's not really the sitting there for a very, very long time that's the important thing. It's discovering that you've been thinking about something else and bringing your mind back. I used to think that getting superpowers through meditation was the aim, but the people I used to follow at that period, I don't really trust anymore. I won't name names, but I think I've lost. I just don't believe them anymore. I'm much more open to people like Brad Warner, he's a Zen monk, he's ordained, he's got transmission, and he's had experiences, but he's been meditating for 40 years, and with a proper teacher in Japan, speaks Japanese, can read texts in Japanese, but he's very down to earth about meditation, that it's sometimes difficult. And I think it's worth working on it in that way, to train the mind. And it's good to train the body, do exercise too, eat healthily. But that's all working on the phenomenal world. It doesn't really change much of your concept of what you really are. You're still that person. You maybe even, you get good at meditation. You maybe, it may feed your ego a bit. Ramana Maharshi spoke about, he told this story that goes, there was a sadhu sitting by the river Ganges, and he did this, he was going to go into samadhi, deep meditation. And before he did, he asked his assistant for some water. So the assistant ran down to the Ganges to get some water. And the sadhu went into Nivakalpi samadhi, complete objectless meditation. And time passed, the assistant went away, the city changed, and he eventually came out of it and said, "Where's my water?" From this point of view, from Ramana Maharshi's point of view, you don't achieve anything. You have to find out what you are. You ask, what am I? Cut down the ego, the structure. That's the way to enlightenment. This improving the mind, be able to do wonderful things with the mind, isn't really the goal. And John Klein echoes that. He says again, yes, meditation, just forcing the mind to follow something, is not the point. He talks more about being invited to sit. And there's something about sitting and abiding in the present, abiding in being. Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now. But of course, now is a time word. But being with what's true, Satchitananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. The Sat is truth. This is true. We have our concepts of the world, which are great, and we need to pay attention to them. The future, the past, but none of that is as real as being here and now, as Ram Dass spoke about. Abiding in the present, really connecting, touching base with what's really here, instead of being fleeting, being pulled by your thoughts, being pulled into objects. So I think we can have a balance. Certainly we need to do self-inquiry. There's lots of different types of discernment in Advaita Vedanta that help you to discover that you're not what you think you are. You're not the body, you're not the mind. And the direct path is excellent for that. Very systematic analysis, phenomenological analysis from your, before all the concepts that are out there, exploring really what's here in your direct experience. But there is a place, I think, for meditation to help you see that you are not your thoughts, to remind you that that they arise in you, rather than you being pulled here and there by them, like a rag doll being in the mouth of a dog, as I used to sometimes feel. But even when we talk about abiding in being, for example, Nisargadatta Maharaj spoke about resting or staying with the felt sense of I am. And you think, well, so the idea of this is I am is Atman, and Atman is Brahman, and that is all that really is. Everything borrows its existence from Brahman. Nothing is independently real from Brahman, from Atman. I'm going to sit as Atman, but you're not doing that. The idea is you focus on the sense of I am, the felt sense of I am, before the concept, pre-verbal, and you see after a while, and it's not difficult, and it's not really an enlightenment, because I did it, and I'm not enlightened, am I? So this, you see very quickly that sense of I am, that's an object, and that comes and goes, and it's clearly not me because I'm over here and that is in front of me. And I bring my mind back to it. It's about seeing that you're not even that thing. And we can see that even about existence. If you sit and abide in being, as some of these very beautiful, the peace of being, the peace that's underneath all the turmoil, that's underneath the peace and the turmoil, there is a deeper peace. And that peace is unmovable, has no parts, is unchanging. And that's what you always are. But sitting as that, abiding in being, is also abiding in a concept. And I think this is why Nisargadatta Maharaj says that beyond being and non-being. It's not really that Brahman is existence, consciousness, bliss, non-existence also, we've added a fourth. It's that it's beyond even that sense, the sense of being there. All of that is part of the phenomenal world. The things that, you can work on and improve with meditation. We sometimes forget, we realize what we are, and it's good to meditate to really get back to touch base, to be in the most true thing we can find, and to see how we are not actually, we need not be pulled by our thoughts. You start to trust your own thoughts less. You start to trust your memories less. These things are just thoughts, and it's worthwhile doing. Personally, for me, I like the following your breath. I like the shikantasa, kind of sitting, just being aware of being aware. But or not even that, just kind of just sitting and let things come and go. But I've been finding recently that I just daydream. So I think I'm going to go back to focusing on the breath a bit more to make it. I'm sure just sitting daydreaming can't be a good idea. Tell me what you think in the comments. So there we go. Yes. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was a coherent video. Goodbye.